Epistrate 2. Beware the Ides of March, a phrase uttered by a soothsayer in Shakespeare's play, Julius Caesar, warning of impending doom. For Caesar it was a prophecy that proved all too true. On that fateful day in 44 B.C., chaos erupted as Caesar entered the Senate chamber. Among the crowd, Julius Caesar grabbed his toga to immobilize him, signaling the start of the attack. Within seconds, daggers flashed and Caesar collapsed, mortally wounded. For instance, Cassius had been passed over for a prestigious command in the Gallic Wars, a decision that had bred discontent within him. There was also Pompey, the former ally of Caesar, whose support had been crucial during the Civil War. However, after crossing the Rubicon, Caesar had sidelined Pompey, even taking his daughter, Julia, as a mistress. The conspirators were about to learn that even in the shadows they couldn't escape the light of consequences. As Caesar entered the Senate chamber on that fateful day, the conspirators pounced. It echoes through time, shaping our understanding of leadership, ambition, and the complexities of human nature. In the realm of politics, he serves as a reminder that power, if unchecked, can corrupt even the noblest intentions. If you'd like to continue exploring the world of ancient Rome and other historical tales, stay tuned for more videos. Thank you for watching. His struggle with Caesar compels us to examine the delicate balance between authority and control, reminding us of the pitfalls of unchecked ambition. Brutus, the statesman, challenges us to consider the limits of idealism in the face of political pragmatism. His unwavering commitment to principles, while admirable, led to the downfall of both himself and the Roman Republic. He teaches us that unwavering adherence to ideals can sometimes come at the expense of practicality and compromise. Brutus, the martyr, captures our imagination with his ultimate sacrifice, choosing death over submission. His readiness to lay down his life for his beliefs stirs our admiration for his courage and conviction. Yet it also raises questions about the wisdom of his choices and the unforeseen consequences of his actions. Julius Caesar. Their fates intertwined in a complex web of ambition, loyalty, and betrayal. As we reflect on their stories, we're reminded of the enduring power of human drama. Whether we view Brutus as a tragic hero or a misguided rebel, his actions serve as a timeless lesson in the complexities of the human condition. In the annals of history, Brutus remains a symbol of both patriotism and betrayal, his story serving as a cautionary tale for those who wield the power of influence and the allure of unchecked ambition. A member of the conspiracy grabbed Caesar's robe, immobilizing him, and shouted, "Beware the Ides of March." With Caesar subdued, Casca, another conspirator, plunged his dagger into Caesar's chest. Soon more daggers flashed and Caesar crumpled to the ground, mortally wounded. The deed was done. Caesar was no more. Pompey saw this as a betrayal and joined the conspiracy, hoping to restore the balance of power. In the immediate aftermath of the assassination, however, was he a hero who sacrificed for his beliefs or a villain who betrayed his closest friend? Throughout history, opinions have been divided. Shakespeare immortalized him in Julius Caesar, calling him the noblest Roman of them all. But Dante, the Italian poet, threw him into the lowest circle of hell, alongside Judas Iscariot, the disciple who betrayed Jesus Christ. Modern interpretations tend to see Brutus as a tragic figure, a man torn between his ideals and the realities of power, whose actions ultimately failed to achieve their goal. Didn't end with Caesar's death. It set off a chain of events that would change the course of Roman history. The people of Rome, enraged by Caesar's murder, sided with Antony and Octavian, Caesar's heir, against the assassins. Cassius and Brutus, fearing the growing unrest, fled Rome. They gathered support in the eastern provinces, setting the stage for another civil war. The decisive battles took place at Philippi in 42 B.C. Cassius and Brutus, despite their valiant efforts, were outnumbered and defeated. Faced with capture, Brutus chose to take his own life. According to Plutarch, his final words were, "By all means must we fly, but with our hands, not our feet." His death marked the end of the struggle against Caesar's legacy. The conspirators stood over Caesar's body, believing they had saved the Republic. However, they had failed to anticipate the fury of one man, Mark Antony. Antony, Caesar's right-hand man, used his cunning and rhetoric to turn the people of Rome against the conspirators. One of the most impactful moments in this campaign was his speech at Caesar's funeral, a speech that tore into the conspirators and stirred the masses to action. According to legend, he looked at Brutus and asked, "You too, child?" before collapsing. Unlike the others, his opposition to Caesar wasn't rooted in personal ambition or rivalry. Why not defeat Caesar in the open, where strength and strategy mattered, not stealth and deceit? The answer lay in the very nature of their opposition. These men weren't just ordinary citizens. They were some of the most influential and powerful figures in Rome. They wielded the power that came with wealth, influence, and military might. Taking on Caesar in an open battle would have meant challenging not just his military prowess, but also the vast network of power he had built up over the years. Moreover, it would have triggered a civil war, a conflict that would tear the very fabric of Roman society apart. Assassination, on the other hand, was a way to eliminate the threat without spilling the blood of the Republic itself. It was a way to strike at the heart of Caesar's power without igniting a wider conflict. He was, after all, related to Caesar by marriage and was one of the privileged few who had access to the dictator's inner circle. Instead, Brutus's opposition stemmed from his unshakable commitment to the ideals of the Roman Republic. He believed that Caesar was destroying the very fabric of their society, and he felt compelled to act. For Brutus, it wasn't about power or personal gain. It was about duty. He saw himself as a soldier of the Republic, defending its principles against an enemy who had infiltrated its heart. He believed that by eliminating Caesar, he could save Rome from tyranny and restore it to its former glory. Whether this story is true or not, it has become one of the most haunting images in history, with Brutus standing over his fallen friend. But why did they kill Caesar? In today's video, we delve into the reasons behind Caesar's assassination and explore the conspiracy that led to one of the most pivotal moments in ancient Rome, the assassination of Julius Caesar. In the bustling city of Rome, a political storm was brewing. The year was 44 B.C., and the city's streets echoed with discontent. Ancient Rome wasn't a democracy in the modern sense. It was a republic where power was held by a small group of elite citizens. Caesar, with his immense popularity, seemed to be blurring the lines of authority. His detractors feared that he was becoming too powerful, accumulating too much control and trampling on the traditions that had held Rome together for centuries. They watched him return from Gaul, not just as a conqueror, but as a man who had defied the Senate by accepting the crown of Gaul without consulting them. He had also defied the Senate by seizing Alexandria after its king had attempted to assassinate him, and seized Pompey's property when the latter fled to Greece. Many senators saw these actions as a dangerous concentration of power. This perception was fueled by the rumors of Caesar's alleged plans to make himself king, a title that would have been a direct challenge to the Republic's established order. For many, Caesar's growing power had tipped the scales of the Republic out of balance. They saw him as a threat to the very core of their society, a danger that needed to be eliminated. But what exactly made him so threatening? Why did these influential figures plot his demise? And how did a close friend like Brutus find himself among his enemies? As we begin our tale, it's crucial to understand the world in which Caesar lived. And then there were the personal rivalries. Men like Cassius, who harbored resentment over Caesar's alleged slights or perceived threats to their own ambitions. But perhaps the most surprising member of this shadowy cabal was Marcus Junius Brutus. But even as the plot thickened, a question loomed large. Why did they choose assassination? However, but what followed was far from over. The assassination. So what do we make of Brutus? Yet Brutus's story doesn't end in the annals of history. In the grand tapestry of history, Brutus and Caesar stand as two of the most iconic figures of the ancient world. We hope you enjoyed this journey through the tale of Brutus and the assassination of Julius Caesar.